She figured out how to split the atom. And the man who built the experiment got the Nobel Prize alone. Her name was not on the paper that defined the 20th century. She was 60 years old, in Swedish exile with one small suitcase, when the calculation that would lead to Hiroshima came to her on a walk through the snow. Lise Meitner was born on November 7, 1878 in Vienna, the third of 8 children in a Jewish family of comfortable means. Her father, Philipp, was one of the first Jewish lawyers in Austria. Her mother, Hedwig, ran a household that was warm, intellectually busy, and full of music. The children spoke German at home and were raised without strong religious observance. Vienna, at the end of the 19th century, did not let girls go to university. Boys finished a gymnasium education at 18, ready for academic study. Girls finished public school at 14 and were expected to be done. Lise finished her girls' school in July 1892 at 14. For the next several years she stayed at home, training as a French teacher and reading whatever physics she could find. Austria had opened its universities to women in 1897. In 1899, at 20, Meitner began private tutoring to cram the missing years of secondary education. She compressed 8 years of mathematics, Latin, Greek and physics into 2 years of lessons and passed the entrance exam in 1901. She entered the University of Vienna that October at 22. In 1906, she became only the second woman ever to receive a doctorate in physics from that university. She wanted to go to Berlin. The most exciting work in physics was happening there, in the laboratory of Max Planck. She arrived in 1907 with her father's small allowance. She had no salary, no fellowship, no expectation of one. Planck initially distrusted women in science. He admitted her to his lectures anyway. She was 28. In Berlin, she met Otto Hahn, a chemist almost exactly her age. He was looking for a physicist to help him study radioactivity. They began a collaboration that would last more than 30 years. The institute would not allow her into the chemistry building. Women were considered a distraction. So she worked in a converted carpentry workshop in the basement. She was unpaid. She used the side entrance. For years, she was not permitted upstairs. She earned a real position only in 1912, when Planck made her his assistant, the first woman in Prussia to hold an academic post in physics. By 1918, she and Hahn had discovered a new element, protactinium. She was given her own department at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Chemistry. She corresponded with Einstein. He called her our Madame Curie. She was 40. For the next 15 years, she was one of the most respected physicists in Europe. She and Hahn worked side by side in Berlin. He the careful chemist, she the theoretical physicist, who understood what the chemistry meant. She was happy. Germany was her home. She had been an Austrian citizen by birth, but Berlin was where she lived, where she worked, where she belonged. Then came 1933. The Nazi laws stripping Jews of academic positions did not, at first, apply to her. Her Austrian citizenship protected her. She kept working. She told friends she was safe. She was not. In March 1938, Germany annexed Austria. Overnight, Lise Meitner became a German citizen. A Jewish German citizen, with no legal protection at all. The Kaiser Wilhelm Institute moved to dismiss her. Her colleagues, including Hahn, distanced themselves. She had a passport that was no longer valid, and a country that no longer wanted her. In July 1938, Dutch and Danish physicists organized a secret escape. She was given a diamond ring belonging to Otto Hahn's mother, in case she needed to bribe a border guard. She left Berlin with one small suitcase and 10 marks in her pocket. She was 59 years old. She landed in Sweden, alone, without a laboratory, without colleagues, without the German she had spoken every day for 30 years. She wrote to Hahn from her hotel room. He kept writing back. In December 1938, Hahn sent her a strange result. He and his assistant, Fritz Strassmann, had bombarded uranium with neutrons. Instead of producing a slightly heavier element, as expected, They had detected barium, an element roughly half the size of uranium. Hahn could not explain it. Chemically, the result was undeniable. Physically, it seemed impossible. He wrote to her, "Perhaps you can suggest some fantastic explanation." She received the letter on the day she traveled to Kungälv, Sweden, to spend Christmas with friends. Her nephew, the physicist Otto Frisch, came to visit. They went for a walk in the snow. She walked. He skied beside her. She told him about Hahn's letter. They stopped to do the calculations. Here is what they realized. The uranium nucleus, they understood, was not a hard ball. It was more like a drop of liquid, held together by surface tension, but quivering and unstable. When a neutron struck it, the drop wobbled. If it wobbled enough, it could pinch in the middle and split in two. The two pieces would fly apart with enormous force. Using Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared, they calculated the energy released by a single split atom. The number was staggering. Then they multiplied it by the number of atoms in even a small piece of uranium. The number became unthinkable. They had discovered nuclear fission. Frisch coined the name, borrowing the term biologists used for cell division. Meitner and Frisch published their explanation in the journal Nature in February 1939. Hahn published his chemistry separately. The papers, together, told the world that the atom could be broken open. Within weeks, physicists in every major country understood the implication. A chain reaction was possible, a weapon was possible. The race to build it began before the year was out. In 1944, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded for the discovery of nuclear fission. It went to Otto Hahn, alone. The Nobel Committee classified the discovery as a chemistry result and excluded the physicist who had explained what the chemistry meant. Hahn, accepting the prize, did not push back. He spent the rest of his life describing the discovery as his work. The Manhattan Project invited Meitner to Los Alamos. She refused. She would say later, "I will have nothing to do with the bomb." She remained in Sweden, refused to return to Germany after the war, and never accepted that her former colleagues had not known what was happening in the camps. She wrote, in an unsent letter to Hahn in 1945, that she could not forgive them for failing to make a single open protest. The letter was never sent. She moved to Cambridge, England in 1960, to be near her nephew. She continued working into her 80s. She received many honors, the Enrico Fermi Award, an element named for her, Meitnerium, in 1997. She did not receive the Nobel. She died on October 27, 1968 in Cambridge. The headstone her nephew chose was simple. It read, "Lise Meitner, a physicist who never lost her humanity." She had walked into the woods with scraps of paper. She had walked out with the equation that would end one war and define the next century. The Nobel Committee had given her colleague the credit. The element, in the end, was given her name. It is the only one on the periodic table named for a non-Nobel woman. It will be there as long as the table is. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more.